Welcome to the Torrance City Council meeting for September 28th, 2021. We have been in executive session. Mr. Chairperson, is there anything to report?
Good evening, Your Honor. There is nothing to report. Thank you.
All right, we're calling the meeting back to order, and I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight for our first fall meeting. It's great to see all of you in person, and I appreciate your continued cooperation in following the Los Angeles County Public Health mandate of masking up indoors. As we near October, I want to remind everyone that it's not too late to participate in National Preparedness Month with your friends and your family and your neighbors. National Preparedness Month is observed each September to raise awareness about the importance of preparing for disasters and emergencies that could happen at any time. The 2021 theme is Prepare to Protect. Preparing for disasters is protecting everyone you love. I think we all know that just a few days ago, 2 earthquakes originated in the city of Carson, one of our neighboring cities, but it was felt throughout the South Bay, specifically in our city. Preparing for them shouldn't wait either. Start today by signing up for Torrance Alerts. I think everybody in our community should be signed up for Torrance Alerts by this time. It's safeguard important documents. Make sure you have them put away so that you can escape with them or have them in case of a dire emergency. And taking other low-cost and no-cost preparedness actions to lessen the impact of disasters and emergencies for you and your family. For more information on National Preparedness Month, visit ready.gov/September. We continue to run normal business for our residents and community to keep Torrance moving forward. It is important to us that you have an opportunity to voice your comments during this pandemic. Public emails will continue to have a deadline of 2 p.m. on the day of the council meeting you wish to comment on. Thank you to those of you who met today's deadline. They have all been forwarded to council as supplemental material and will be entered into the public record. Any emails submitted after that deadline will still be added to the public record, but obviously we couldn't consider them this evening. For all of you in attendance this evening, in just a few minutes we will accept oral communications or public comment on items not on the agenda and consent items. Speaker cards are accepted before the start of the meeting and will not be entered into the speaker list after the meeting starts. You will have up to 1 minute per speaker for a period up to 15 minutes. Comments on administrative matters as they are considered allow up to 1 minute per speaker. Comments on public hearings allow up to 2 minutes per speaker. The speaker clock starts as soon as you step to the microphone, and it's cut off immediately after 1 minute. Time limits will be strictly enforced to ensure equal opportunity. We request that speakers keep their remarks brief and limited to the topic of discussion. At the end of the meeting, we will have another 15 minutes for oral communication number 2, which will allow up to a 1 minute per speaker. Remember, you can only participate under oral communications once during the meeting. City Clerk, have emails received before 2 p.m. today been processed as supplemental material and provided to council?
Yes, Your Honor, they have.
Well, thank you. Then we move on to the next items on the agenda is a flag salute led by Councilmember Kalani, followed by an invocation by Councilmember Matucci. Please stand.
Please join me in saluting our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Lord, please protect our men and women of our armed forces as they fight evil both domestically and around the world. Let us not forget all of our first responders and all those protecting our cities, our states, and our country. We must continue the fight against those willing to destroy our country from within and from abroad. Help this council make decisions that reinforce our efforts to maintain law and order, emphasizing public safety as a top priority, and continue to protect quality of life for our residents and businesses. May we continue fighting the evil forces that try to undermine American values and tear apart our fundamental rights as citizens of this beautiful country. May God continue to bless America and the wonderful people of Torrance. Amen.
Thank you both. I'll take a report of the City Clerk on the posting of the agenda.
Your Honor, this agenda was posted on Monday, September 20th, 2021.
Thank you. I'll take a motion to waive further reading.
Move to waive further readings.
Second.
Start voting, please. That motion carried with Councilmember Ashcraft absent.
Thank you. An announcement of withdrawn, deferred, and/or supplemental items. Mr. Chairperson?
Thank you, Your Honor. There are several items tonight for supplemental material. Under item 7, oral communications. 8B, from General Service and Fire to award a purchase order for 3 fire ballot battalion trucks. 8C, from Finance to accept and file the investment report for the month of July 2021. 8F, from Community Services to approve a contract services agreement to provide dance and exercise classes at the Cultural Arts Center. 8G, from City Manager and Human Resources to approve an examination to fill CIT Director position. 8J, from CIT to award consulting services agreement for network segmentation. And lastly, 9B, from the City Manager and Community Services to review and provide direction regarding Torrance Friendship City Program and Policy. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Council committee meetings and announcements. Councilmember Matucci.
Thank you, Mayor. A Transportation Committee meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, October 13th, 2021, from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. in the City Hall Assembly Room. The purpose of the meeting is to update the public on Torrance transit activities, the Regional Transit Center, and Metro's regional fareless system initiatives. This meeting is open to the public. An item from the Transportation Committee to accept and file. The update will be on the agenda for October 26, 2021, City Council meeting.
Thank you. Councilmember Griffiths.
Thank you, Mayor. Last week, myself and several of my associates, Councilmember Chen, Councilmember Matucci, also our city manager and our city attorney, attended the League of California Cities Conference up in Sacramento, also now called the Cal Cities. There were over 1,900 attendees attending this year's in-person event in Sacramento, which was pretty impressive considering the circumstances of the COVID pandemic. But it was great to see people in person. A lot of opportunities for networking with our colleagues and in other cities, as well as a lot of opportunities to learn new things. As the voting delegate for Torrance, I did participate in the votes for the items that were brought forth by the League. There were 2 resolutions and a modification of bylaws. Resolution 1, which we all discussed this previously, but there was a minor change in that. Originally, the position on that from the League was to support the online sales tax equity resolution, and at the last minute that was amended to take a position of return the item back to a policy committee for further discussion. And I voted to concur with that recommendation. Originally, we had voted here to oppose the sales tax equity measure. So we feel that that's the best solution, and that's to have that measure go back to committee and come back again for further discussion in the future. The resolution number 2, which was the securing railroad property maintenance resolution, we voted as recommended, and that was to approve the resolution. And the last item was the modification to the League's bylaws. And again, we voted as recommended, and that was to approve the modifications to the bylaws. So that's my report from last week, and I'd invite any of my other colleagues who attended to make a comment if they'd like.
All right. Chief Martin Cerna.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just a reminder, the Torrance Refinery Company will be conducting their monthly test of the Community Alert Siren Test next Wednesday, October 6th, at approximately 11:30 a.m. This is only a test. The monthly test is described as follows. A 1-minute chime, all clear chime, will precede and follow a 2-minute siren tone. Total testing time will not exceed 5 minutes. It is important to note that the siren tone does carry greater distance and may be heard beyond the reach of the chimes. During a real emergency, when you hear sirens, shelter, shut, and listen. If you're at home and outdoors, go inside, close all vents, windows, and doors, listen for instructions on local cable and radio. If driving, continue to drive, close windows and vents, and turn your radio to 1620 AM City Sounds. Listen for the chime sound that will signal in all clear. For additional information, please contact the Torrance Refinery Community Relations at 310-212-1852. Again, that's 310-212-1852. We also encourage all community members to sign up for Torrance Alerts. For more information regarding Torrance Alerts, please go to the City of Torrance's webpage. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Chief. And we've received an awful lot of emails and telephone calls from a lot of our neighbors asking us to support or to oppose the Beach Cities Health District project just west of the city. I want to let everybody know that we have been monitoring it since its inception. We, meaning the council and the mayor, as well as staff, have been on top of it the entire time, and we're continuing to monitor it and watch it, and we will advocate the positions that many of you have pointed out to us. We are in agreement with your position. Move on to community matters. Item 6A. May I have a number and title, please?
Yes, Your Honor, this is resolution number 2021-83, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Torrance, California, honoring Fire Captain James M. Strock upon his retirement from the city after 28 years of service.
Take a motion.
Mayor, I move to adopt Resolution 2021-83.
Mayor, I second the motion.
Start voting, please. That motion carried with Councilmember Ashcraft absent.
Thank you. That resolution will be presented at a later date. Item 6B and 6C, I will come down to. Item 6B is a proclamation for Fire Prevention Week in the City of Torrance. May I be joined by the representative from the Fire Department? Oh, yeah, good to see you. Councilmember Kalani, would you do the honors, please?
Thank you, Mayor. It will be my pleasure. Whereas the City of Torrance is committed to ensuring the safety and security of all those living in and visiting Torrance, and whereas fire is a serious public safety concern both locally and nationally, and homes are the locations where people are at the greatest risk from fire, and whereas Torrance residents should have appropriately working smoke alarms and carbon monoxide alarms in their home, and make sure everyone in the house knows how to call 911 or the local emergency number from a cell phone or a neighbor's phone. And whereas Torrance residents who have planned and practiced learning the sounds of a smoke alarm and carbon monoxide alarm are more prepared and more likely to survive a fire. And whereas Torrance first responders remain dedicated to reducing the occurrence of house fires and home fire injuries through prevention and protection education. And whereas the 2021 Fire Prevention Week theme, Learn the Sounds of Fire Safety, effectively serves to remind us that we need to take personal steps to increase our safety from fires.
Now, therefore, I, Patrick J. Fury, as Mayor of the City of Torrance, California, do hereby proclaim October 3rd through the 9th, 2021, as Fire Prevention Week in the City of Torrance, and I encourage all people throughout the city to be aware of their surroundings, look for available ways out in the event of a fire or other emergency, respond when the smoke alarm sounds by exiting the building immediately, and to support the many public safety activities and efforts of Torrance Fire and Emergency Services during Fire Prevention Week. Signed this 28th day of September 2021. Mr. Rhodes, would you like to say a few words?
I would, thank you. Honorable Mayor, council members. Home fires are a cause for significant concern. Cooking fires are one of the most common types of residential fires, and fires in the home can start easily if the right precautions are not taken. the Torrance Fire Department recommends that residents take active steps to protect themselves and their families at home, including by testing smoke alarms once a month and replacing them after 10 years, as recommended by the National Fire Protection Association, or NFPA. Additionally, it is important to have a fire escape route in place so all are prepared for how to leave the home if a fire does occur. We can all do our part to prevent fires in and around our homes to protect our lives and the families and neighbors we live with. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chris. Let's get a photo.
Okay. I will. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is item 6C, a proclamation of the city for PTA Membership Enrollment Month in the city of Torrance. I believe Terry Reagan's the president. And Jill. How are you? Councilmember Walsers, will you do the honors, please?
Thank you, Your Honor. Whereas the National Congress of Parents and Teachers, better known as the PTA, was founded in 1897 to advocate on behalf of children and youth, and whereas the Torrance Council of PTAs was established in 1947 as part of the California Congress of Parents, Teachers, and Students, and the National PTA, and whereas the Torrance Council of PTAs has 30 PTA units across 4 high schools, 8 middle schools, 17 elementary schools, and 1 preschool, and whereas as membership is vital to the activities and accomplishments of the PTA, the Torrance Council of PTAs has selected October as Membership Enrollment Month with the theme, PTA Strong, Back Together, Better Than Ever, and will be actively conducting membership campaigns in each of its 30 units. And whereas each unit will be encouraging parents, teachers, students, and members of our community to join with them in being advocates for all children with its goal to have membership equal to student enrollment in the Torrance Unified School District.
Now therefore, I, Patrick J. Fury, as mayor of the city of Torrance, California, do hereby proclaim October 2021 as PTA Membership Enrollment Month in the city of Torrance, and I encourage parents, teachers, students, and other members of our community to join the PTA in being advocates for all children. Signed this 28th day of September 2021. Ms. Reagan, Ms. Reed.
Thank you. All right, I get to begin. Good evening, Honorable Mayor, council members, staff, and community members. I'm pleased to visit you this evening wearing my new hat of leadership here in Torrance. There's always some new leadership position we can always take on. And I am the president of the Torrance Council of PTAs for this coming year. I wanted to take a moment to tell you about that organization, just a brief moment, just in case you don't have a feel for it, because you're honoring us and we really appreciate that. There are 30 schools that each have their own individual PTA, and then Torrance Council is the parent organization, or sort of the oversight organization that manages all of those PTAs. So we are very involved at every school. All of our schools participate in all the programs and all the initiatives that we have as a community organization, including school supplies, that there was some help from the city in terms of the Community Services Commission collecting things. Thank you very much. We did about 400 backpacks for foster and homeless youth and socioeconomically disadvantaged students this summer. That was just this summer. We are also collecting food for food boxes for the same population. We're doing art programs, libraries, a variety of enrichment programs to make our schools the schools that our kids want to be part of. We invite you to join us in those efforts, and that's why we're here tonight, to make, oh no, wait, not to make, but to keep Torrance schools as the best in the South Bay. So thank you for honoring us. Thank you for your recognition, your support, and your leadership in our wonderful schools and school community here in Torrance. Thank you. And Jill Reed is our membership chairperson. She will speak to that right now.
Good evening. I'm Jill Reed, Membership Chair for Torrance Council of PTAs. Thank you for having us here tonight. First, I want to thank everyone who's already joined the PTA at their local school or schools. And you might wonder, why do schools and communities need PTAs? The role of PTA is so important because with more than 6 million members across the nation, PTA is the largest organization in the country advocating for children and their education. PTA focuses on many aspects of a child's school years, including arts, music, extracurriculars like field trips, classroom support, lab support, and so much more. And on a broader level, they track local, state, and national policies to advocate for what is best for students and for the school community. Because schools really are a vital part of our community, and great schools make any community better. PTA units here in Torrance are getting started with membership campaigns for the school year, and we encourage anyone to join PTA at their local school or schools. I have one kid, but I'm in 3 PTAs, all the schools that he has been at or will be at, because everyone benefits when our schools are supported and when our students are thriving. If anyone's interested in joining any or all of the Torrance PTA units, you can find the links for the TCTPA website at torrancecouncilofptas.org and click on the link to join a PTA, or you can email tcptamembers@gmail.com and we'll connect you with the units for your neighborhood schools. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Make sure I get the offer. Thank you very much.
You don't have to leave. You can stick around like you came. You just want us money, not our company.
The council will now recess to closed session to confer with the city manager and city attorney on the agenda matters listed under 14A, conference with labor negotiator, and 14B, real property, conference with real property negotiator. Closed session on these matters is authorized by California Government Code Section 54957.6 and 54956.8. We will return when we're completed. Thank you.
Thank you, Honor. There's nothing to report at this time.
All right, move on with the agenda. Next item on the agenda is oral communication number 1, limited to a 15-minute period of time. Do we have anybody signed up?
Matios?
So, first of all, it's ridiculous that I still have 1 minute to speak, but y'all have heard a lot from me. Not only today, but also just in general. But let me just remind you of a few things. 1, you're racist. 2, you're white supremacist. 3, fire Anthony Chavez. 4, fire Matthew Concannon. And here's a new one for you because we are officially updating our demands. And I noticed that a gentleman over here, I can't even call him a gentleman, but the person over here, I said, fire Officer Brian Kawamoto, and then he just magically disappeared. So I'm really curious, how many officers that you know actively killed people, have you allowed to be in these city chambers? I really want to know that. I also want to know the names of the 13 officers who we know were sending racist, sexist, homophobic, and anti-Semitic emails have you allowed to be in these city council chambers? How about that? How many of them might or might not overlap with Officer Kawamoto, Anthony Chavez, and Matthew Concannon? Are they perhaps on that list of 13 officers? Because I know you know their names. So I'd really like to
Thank you, ma'am. Your time's up.
Are they on that? Your time
Next
is up.
name?
The time of racism in this city. Gina?
Your time's up, ma'am.
Anti-blackness in this city is up. The time of police brutality in this city is up. And now I decide my time is up.
Gina?
I am a teacher. I have chosen very proudly a life of service. This choice that I have made is not without consequences. It is a dream job of mine, and it requires me to have a deep empathy for the community that I have chosen to serve. This mindset is vital to a career of service. You have all chosen a career of service. Why did you choose that career? You have no empathy. You have a community member, a mother. How many of you are parents? A mother comes in here every single week begging for your empathy, begging. Not to mention that Christopher was a community member of yours. I see no in God we trust. You think you're godly people? I see no godliness in you. You're cowards, cowards. I see complicity. I see no life of service, only a career, an institution of self-service. You only serve your comfort. Justice for Christopher DeAndre Mitchell. Chavez and Concannon will murder again, and it will be on your hands again.
Thank you, ma'am. Your time's up.
Audrey?
Say Audrey.
Hi. So I had to look at all these proclamations you did as agenda items number 6. How about a proclamation? It's the day to fire Stormtrooper Concannon. And then the day after that, it's the day to fire Stormtrooper Chavez. And the day after that, it's the day to fire Stormtrooper Kawamoto. And then a whole year in honor of Christopher DeAndre Mitchell and all Black Lives Matter. All these other proclamations of, keeping your streets clean and being friendly to other people. That's just nonsense. Where are your priorities? Where is the Civilian Oversight Commission? Where is it? You know that you could create so much goodwill by establishing that commission.
Janae?
y'all are all dishonorable. Through and through and through and through. You have earned the chagrin of the public. You have earned the disrespect of the public. And I like to use a saying that we're only as strong as our weakest link. All of what you guys waste time doing means nothing when you have a police department that murders folks. When you have a chamber and a council and a system and you guys cooperation and collaboration with each other that refuses to do what you were ordered to do by a jury, which is create a civilian oversight commission. So long as you uphold a system where the members of your public, your constituents can be murdered by the police and there be no justice whatsoever, that's your weakest fucking link. Keep your streets clean, plant all the trees that you fucking want, but Black Lives Matter. And until you recognize that Black Lives Matter and you make Black Lives Matter, that's your weakest fucking link. And that's why everyone cannot stand your asses. I implore every one of y'all to fix.
Thank you, ma'am. Your time's up. Your time's up. Thank you.
Jason?
Tucci! You want to look at me or you just want to look down? Hey, so I saw it was your birthday Sunday. Fuck your birthday. You turned 50 and wrote, yes, I know. You're probably thinking, wow, he looks so young. For the record, you look like shit. You're pasty, weak, you're a wannabe Mr. Clean. And we know why you look like that. You spend so much time in these fucking sewers. In your platform for city council, you state criminals must take their criminal activity elsewhere. So why are you so quiet about the criminals that are in your fucking police department? You talk about making the city clean, but you're not willing to take out the most foul trash in this department. The murderers of Christopher DeAndre Mitchell, what's his name? Matthew Concannon, Anthony Chavez, and this new motherfucker, Brian Komodo. Re-election looking a little bit rocky. Seems like Torrance residents want to get rid of the hate in Torrance. You know, it's a good start with y'all, but they need to get rid of every single one of you motherfuckers. Matucci lists himself as a community activist on Twitter. That might be the only joke that you've told that's ever funny. I want to say fuck every single one of y'all. What this motherfucker look like he just caught up.
Sarah?
Hey, my name's Sarah Bowers. So for the past year, I have sent the same email 29 times without any response or acknowledgement of it. So I'm glad that I can be here in person to deliver what I wrote about in my email 29 times. The grand jury has directed you to create a police oversight commission. You haven't, and then since then, people have been killed by the police. Without accountability, officers have now been caught promoting racist and xenophobic content and symbols. And I just want to say, a police oversight commission is a very low expectation and a low bar. We know LAPD has a police commission, and they don't do anything. So it seems like a very easy win for all of us to create a police commission. And your refusal to even acknowledge or even think about that idea just illustrates your lack of dedication to democracy. And the last thing I'll say is that when there's no justice.
Thank you.
Stephanie P.
I was disgusted to read, to learn about the officers who had been caught defacing property with racist and sexist and homophobic and anti-Semitic symbols. I was disgusted, but I was not surprised. This is who you are. This is who your police department is. And now more people know it. You have no excuse for not having a civilian oversight committee. And if any city ever needed one, if any police department ever needed one, it's this one. And yeah, it's a low bar, but you need to do it. Fire Concannon, fire Chavez, fire Kawamoto, justice for Christopher DeAndre Mitchell, who was murdered by Torrance police. We will not stop coming. You can't get rid of us.
Sherry.
Hi. I have to say, especially after the people from the PTA were here and you were celebrating education, I've been a teacher of young children for 43 years. One of the more important life skills that parents ask for and we as teachers really try to put into our children is the life skill of responsibility. And yet, here we have a city council who is not taking responsibility, is not making the police officers take responsibility for who murdered Christopher DeAndre Mitchell. And it just baffles my mind about what kind of role modeling this is. I don't know if any of you have children, but are you wanting them to have responsibility as one of the life skills that they carry on? Because you are not modeling it. It is really, really important that people take responsibility for their actions.
Thank you, ma'am. Time's up.
Mary Ann.
I just absolutely not surprised at your little tactics in going to closed session. It's the same kind of running away from your problems and the same kind of running away from responsibility that I've watched you do for more than 2 years. Fire Anthony Chavez, fire Matthew Concannon, fire Kawamoto. Create a civilian oversight commission, find some empathy, find some humanity, find some responsibility, find some dignity. Ugh. Integrity? Check the glove box. You're just such a disappointment.
No one else has signed up.
Anybody else wish to be heard?
I would just like to tell you I signed up as sport job, but I don't know how come you did not find it. First of all, I like to congratulate all of you for your success to blocking SB 9 and 10. I mean, not blocking, I'm sorry. You, the compatible leaders with education, law degrees, accomplish that, we're gonna be overbilled like hell. That was a great fight and a great success. That shows how useless you are. Useless as tits on the board, as my mother-in-law used to say. You are absolutely no good with leadership here, absolutely no good with anything. Pulling out the closed session out of order, Pat Furry, that was illegal too. But you are not a straight guy.
Thank you, sir. Your time's up.
Dishonorable Torrance City Council members, it is time for you to fire Anthony Chavez, Matthew Concannon, and Brian Kawamoto, and to do one right thing, create a civilian oversight commission. Hearts have been really heavy and broken this past couple of weeks. So much anger, so much sadness after the unnecessary deportations, deaths, and state-sanctioned violence against Black Haitians in the recent days. because of this country's white supremacy and racist immigration policies, but still, we will not stop showing up until a civilian oversight commission is created and these officers are fired. Christopher DeAndre Mitchell's life mattered. I'm here to stand with Sherilyn Haynes and all black mothers and to ask if you knew that the lived experience of being a black woman and a black mother in this perpetually racist country is so stress-inducing that it causes bodily trauma. Your complicity regarding Christopher DeAndre Mitchell, and it is your complicity that is a direct fuck.
Thank you, sir. Your time's up. That concludes the time allotted for oral communication. We're now moving on to item 8, consent calendar. Any council members wish to pull any items listed under consent calendar? Seeing none, I'll take a motion to approve the consent calendar.
I move to approve the consent calendar in its entirety.
Second.
Start voting, please. Your Honor, that motion carried with Councilmember Ashcraft absent.
Thank you. That brings us to item 9A from City Manager and Human Resources to approve reclassify of 2.0 Senior Administrative Analyst positions to 2.0 Policy and Resources Specialist positions. From staff.
Human Resources. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Item 9A is a recommendation to approve the reclassification of 2 Senior Administrative Analysts to 2 Policy and Resources Specialists. On May 18, 2021, City Council approved the Public Works Department's restructuring to address the expansion of enterprise-funded operations in the water and sanitation divisions and to enhance organizational efficiencies. The reorganization upgraded 2 positions to a new classification of Policy and Resources Specialists. Senior Administrative Analyst incumbents Chuck Scheich and John Drakaditis have demonstrated they have performed the duties and responsibilities of the new classification and met the criteria for reclassification in accordance with the Civil Service Commission's policy. Therefore, staff recommends that your honorable body approve the reclassification of Chuck Scheich and John Drakaditis to Policy and Resources Specialists. Staff is available for questions.
Thank you, Ms. Lee. Are there any questions from the council? I see none. Anybody else wish to be heard? I see none. I'll take a motion.
I got you right here.
Oh, we have somebody who wants to communicate.
That's correct.
Yes, sir.
So I just want to say this is a waste of money. This money should be going to the Civilian Oversight Commission. And I'm going to quote Matucci the douchey right here. You wrote, "I hate wasteful spending, pet projects, and money spent to appease special interests." This is exactly what this bullshit is. It should be going towards a fucking Civilian Oversight Commission of this racist, homophobic, transphobic fucking department. Let's see here. What else? Fuck you.
So we're talking about human resources and spending $375,000 over that, actually. It's a waste of money. It's a waste of time. And also, if we want to talk about human resources issues, the real human resource issue we should talk about is the fact that you need to fire Anthony Chavez, Matthew Concannon, and Brian Kawamoto. And by the way, I curse every single one of you. I curse all of your future descendants. And I curse all of your ancestors. And let me tell you, they are all going to rise up, shake you into your bed, and shake you into submission of the fact that you are no longer a tool of white supremacy. You are no longer a tool of the damn police. You are no longer a tool of racism and anti-blackness. You must overcome that. That is the call of your ancestors. And if you do not heed it, your future descendants will be cursed with your own bad karma.
Anybody else?
All right. As I see on this item, that $82,000 extra. Now, Bofages, listen up. We have a pandemic. Pandemic, we don't have money. You have a budget shortfall. That's mean less money coming in for the guy who comes with the little yellow bus. And it's gonna be an endemic. This is not gonna go away. This is not gonna go away. You don't have money. Then you're paying $82,000 more. That's extra what you pay right now. Sanitation and water is very important. So you should use your money if you have it. If you have it, you should use it for workers who's cleaning the sewer and workers who taking care of the water and who would know where is the shut-off valve for the water main. Because
Thank you, sir. Your time's up. Anybody else?
So why are we discussing reclassifying analyst positions when the analytics have been done for you? You have your community that comes out to these meetings to tell you that there is an issue within your police department. It's whispered about on the streets among other police departments how brutal this police department is. Correct? This case is being investigated by the DA. It's being reopened. And week after week, you shut us out. You ignore the people in the room from whom you should be listening, to whom you should be listening. And it is so frustrating looking at this council who continues to, I'm from here. I was born and raised in this community. And I have to sit here and look at the legacy that is being built in the place that I come from. And you are actively shutting out participation from vital, important communities, and it is sickening. And it is a travesty.
Thank you. Nobody else will to speak? We'll take a motion. I need a motion to approve the reclassification of 2.0 senior administrative analyst positions to 2.0 policy and resources specialist position.
So moved.
I second.
Start voting, please. That motion carried with Councilmember Ashcraft absent.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is item 9B, from the city manager and community services to review and provide direction regarding the Torrance Friendship City Program and policy.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council, John LaRock, Community Services Director. As a follow-up to City Council direction on July 13th, staff is presenting Friendship City Program Policy, candidate city application, and a sample proclamation to declare a new Friendship City relationship. There are two supplementals with this item tonight. One is a public comment submitted by email, and another is to correct a Scribner's error on the proclamation sample. A Friendship City program is an opportunity for your honorable body to foster official relationships with national and international cities, and to link those relationships to advancing mutually beneficial economic, cultural, or other interests. Shared interests could include a new business with ties or origin in another city or country, special national or worldwide events such as the Summer Olympics, and cities approaching civic issues with innovative actions. Friendship cities can be nominated by a member of your honorable body, or interested cities can also directly solicit the city manager's office for an application. Friendship City relationships can have applicable terms related to a shared goal or event. If adopted by your honorable body, the Friendship City program would be incorporated into the city's sister city program and be jointly managed by the city manager's office and the Community Services Cultural Services Division. That concludes our report, and we're available for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rock. Are any questions from the council? Councilmember Griffiths?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I still have concerns on this issue about the Friendship City program in regards to cost and staff time, which hasn't really been addressed by this item. So I'd prefer to wait until additional information is available before we take this item up. And that's my position. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Chen, any questions?
Thank you, Mayor. It's more of a making some comments. I think I appreciate the staff for bringing this back. This is one of the things that I was working on late last year. We had an opportunity to establish a friendship city with the city in Taiwan. And at that time, we were looking at potential business opportunity in the city of Torrance, standing up a factory. And the mayor from the city was actually, from the city in Taiwan, was already ready to take the first step forward and potentially inviting the mayor to the city. At the time, we did not know what the next steps were. And with that, with the delay there, the interest waned. So I'm hoping that with the pandemic gets in control in Taiwan and in our country, that the dialogue will restart. But that was a potential opportunity for business and revenue in the city of Torrance and put Torrance in the global network we are even further than we are today. So I know that this item brought forward, the staff is saying, let's go forward and establish a friendship city process, and there's no budget attached to it, which is good, because as each opportunity comes, then we establish if there's a budget required at that moment in time, and then it'll come before the council if we proceed to go forward or not forward. So I really appreciate that. It makes the city of Torrance a little bit more nimble, and it could be other countries that come. Sometimes you can't force the opportunity, but when the opportunity comes, we need to be nimble enough to respond, so not to portray as if maybe we're not interested because we're unable to respond what the next steps forward are. So this allows us to establish a process. It has to be nominated, and then it'll come before the council if we go or no go, depending on if there's mutual benefits. So I really appreciate it, and I would be voting to go forward with this. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Matucci.
Thank you, Mayor. I definitely I appreciate the idea coming to us, and I fully support us moving forward with at least putting together a plan or some guidelines to so anyways, I support moving forward and actually maybe putting together a plan and also a budget as to what it might cost to operate that. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments from council? Seeing none, anybody from the public wish to be heard?
I'm wondering if any of these cities that you're going to be partnering with through this friendship program know that you're racist and white supremacist and that you have actively killer cops on your police department, because they might not want to partner with you or do business with you if they know that. Because did you know that actually this country and this state has the highest rate of murder of people by the police? That's not a mistake. That's also because there's a connection between the police department and the roots of this country in slavery. So there's no mistake of why this is happening in this country and why it always happens more in this country and why it always happens to people who look like me and why it happens more to people who look like some of the people in the audience who are black, but not many of you who look like you who are up there. There's a reason for that. And I need all of you to analyze that, and I need to make sure that we need to make sure that the cities who are partnering with you through this program also know.
Thank you.
I find it hard to believe that you're talking about a friendship program when you do not seem to know the elements of what makes a good friend. Friendship needs to be based on trust and respect, and you have no respect for the life of Christopher DeAndre Mitchell and other people that have been murdered under your police department. Yeah, and it's just sad to me that also underneath it all is also money, that's the reason that you're going for this friendship program. Friendship should have nothing to do with money. It should be empathy, respect, integrity, and it's silly for you to be thinking of this until you have those things in your department, in your police department.
Yeah, friendship is a really nice word, isn't it? It's a nice word, but it doesn't really mean much, and it just seems like another element of this really performative wokeness that you guys all want to like continue to say, this performative liberalism, this performative progressivism. I guess it's not really that intentional in any way, but it's just also like, what does that even mean? You can't even get your own shit together in Torrance. How do you go beyond to start to infect other cities? That's insane. That's bonkers. It's just, you can't even be a good friend to Sister Sherilyn, who comes in here every single week. What does that mean, friendship, to you guys? Do you understand what a good friend does? A friend is there to work with one another and to support one another. That is not what this council is about, ever, ever. It's just words all the time. Words, words, words. Friendship, love, words. You have no.
Thank you.
Hello. I'm really stuck and kind of disillusioned at the fact that you're calling this friendship, just because, like, who wants to be friends with racists? Who wants to be friends with white supremacists, homophobes, sexists? And it's pretty obvious that that's what you guys uphold, because your own police department blatantly acts out in that way. They were caught with emails and with vandalism. You guys are lawless. You guys pretend to be the law and order people. You guys pretend to be the fiscally conservative people. But it's not real. It's all fake. And how do you expect other cities or municipalities to see you guys as friends when you can't even uphold what friendship really is? Nobody wants to be friends with somebody who's a bigot.
I too am disillusioned. I'm trying to figure out if you all really think that you are in a position to do anything concerning cultural affairs, or if it really is just performative. Like, Chen, do you really think that the city of Torrance gives a fuck about Taiwanese people, or gives a fuck about any cultural anything? You all need to start from scratch. Actually, defund this entire department that you have that's cultural, and put that money into a police oversight commission, first of all. Second of all, worry about the fucking basics. We're talking life or death here. So y'all think that we're playing around. Y'all wonder why we keep coming back. We're talking life or death. First, make sure that black people can be in their vehicles in a Rouse parking lot and not get shot within 15 seconds of being approached. Worry about that fucking first, then worry about cultural affairs and putting shit on the agenda that shouldn't be on the agenda. That should be the shit that you're supposed to be doing a long time ago. Priorities. Figure your shit out.
That's right, priorities. Let's talk about this as being a reflection of your true moral values. Let's see, Friendship Commission, Civilian Oversight Commission. How does Friendship went out over that? But, you know, in a way we're glad, because it would give us one more meeting to come to every time that Friendship Committee meets. We can come and talk about how friendly Torrance was to Christopher DeAndre Mitchell, how friendly Torrance is to all black people. We can talk about that. We can talk about how Torrance greets a grieving mother with contempt and disdain and dismissal. So yes, another meeting for us to attend. And we can tell anyone interested in being friends with Torrance about these things.
About the Torrance Friendship City program. It's on full display with best friends George Chen and Matucci. I love that y'all are wearing your American flag masks and picking up trash together. And in 2022, you will be kicked to the curb. Well, actually, you'll be kicked back down to the sewers. But let's read this. Promote short and long-term relationships with other cities that may contribute to Torrance in a positive cultural, economic, and political manner. Culturally, y'all ain't got no culture. Economically, y'all almost went bankrupt as a result of this racist-ass police department. Politically, y'all let this police department morally corrupt y'all. Mike Griffith, what's wrong? Why don't you ever look up, you don't like to look at black people? Also, Kalani, I read that you're a hospice volunteer at the Torrance Memorial Hospital. Did your friendship with Walzer help him get out of the hospice? Fuck every single one of you, especially you, Matucci. Last time I came here, you flicked me off as you were putting up your lanyard. Do that shit to my face, right here. Do it to me. If you're gonna flick me off like a real man, all right? Go fuck yourself.
So friendship, what is it, y'all? Friendship city program. It's just hard for me to hold all that nonsense. The, it's not, it's a transactional city committee. You all don't know the difference. I just thought I'd clarify that and make sure to point that out and that we see that. Transactional, that's what this little thing is. It's not friendship.
I don't see the numbers. Okay, thank you. Listen up, Buffages. I don't want to repeat myself, but pandemic, upcoming endemic, no money coming into the city. Look up my name, Pat Furry. I see you looking for the name. And you guys want to spend more money on this friendship BS because it's going to cost, because, you know, friendship doesn't come with fresh air. And the only reason for this, so the city council members and the mayors can have a little bit more travel. Because who's going to visit the friendship city? The mayor, and not you, the upcoming mayor, the other mayor who's going to be. So why is he recommending Taiwan? Because he want to take a few free trips there, right? Because I'm going to go there and represent the city? No, not me, because I'm friendly. I'm not a liar. I'm not a crooked.
Thank you, sir.
Like you. Thank you.
Nobody else apparently wishes to be heard, so I'll take a motion.
Mayor, I'd like to move to accept staff recommendation for, to initiate a City of Torrance Friendship City program. And I just want to clarify, this is zero budget request, and that's it.
Second.
Start voting, please. That motion carried with Councilmembers Griffiths and Councilmember Kalani voting no and Councilmember Ashcraft absent.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is item 9C from Transit to authorize the submission of fiscal year 2020-2021 Federal Transit Administration grant application and appropriate funding. Mr. Lee.
Requesting. Item 9C is requesting your approval for the submission of a Transit Department grant to the Federal Transit Administration, or the FTA, for 2021 operating assistance funds. Transit is eligible for and is requesting funding in the amount of $3,473,748 to be used towards vehicle repair and maintenance and the operation of the Regional Transit Center upon its completion of construction. Staff is also asking that you appropriate the Transit Center operating funds to the operating budget for the Transit Department to be used upon receipt from the Federal Transit Administration. And staff is available for any questions you may have.
Thank you, James. Are there any questions from council? I see none. Anybody from the public wish to be heard?
So thank you very much for applying for this money what the taxpayers paid for. So this is not like a grant what God
God gave you. This is the money the taxpayer paid for. And I just saw on your city cable a report about this transport center with over $20 million spent, and it's a useless thing, just like it's on the board. It has like a DJ area. Get this, DJ area where the DJ gonna play and the people gonna eat in a transit center. Watch your city cable videos, man. They are hilarious. But thank God that taxpayers give you this almost $3.5 million, and then you appropriate $1.2 million to finally finish that project, what you did not finish for 20 years.
Anybody else? Seeing none, I'll take a motion.
Mayor, I move to concur staff recommendation and with authorizing the funds for the Transit Department's fiscal year expenditures for items 1 and 2.
Second.
Start voting, please. That motion carried with Councilmember Ashcraft absent.
Thank you. That takes us to oral communication number 2, limited to a 15-minute period of time. Anybody who hasn't been heard? I'm sorry, ma'am, you already spoke. No, you already spoke. You already spoke. No, you're not speaking. You're not speaking. Anybody else wish to be heard? Anybody else wish to be heard? She's not getting a minute. She spoke already. Ma'am, you are in violation of our rules of order. You're out of order, disrupting our meeting, and need to sit down. You're in violation of our rules of order, and you're disrupting our meeting and interfering with the business of the city of Torrance. I'm ejecting you from our meeting, and you are ordered to leave the council chamber and City Hall. We'll be taking us. Friendship City. Thank you, Jordan. Sean, you've been very quiet tonight.
Your Honor, would you like a countdown?
Well, we're back from our recess, and we're moving on to oral communication number 2. Anybody from the public wish to be heard? Seeing none here? I guess we should have our clerk, too, huh? And council orals starts with Councilmember Matucci.
I got nothing, Your Honor. Good night, everyone.
Councilmember Walser.
I have nothing. Thank you very much.
Councilmember Chen.
I'm not sure his mom. Okay, now it's on. Yes, just want to acknowledge and welcome our new CDD director, Michelle Ramirez. I mean, I wish she was. I will welcome her in person again. Just want to say thank you for coming to Team Torrance. That's it.
Councilmember Griffith.
Thank you, Mayor. I do have something I'd like to ask for concurrence on. As many of you know, earlier this month, the state legislature passed several bills, actually many bills, including 2 bills that have been in the press quite a bit lately, SB 9, SB 10, and several others that basically effectively take away cities' local control over their land use and housing issues. And we fought very hard to try to prevent those bills from moving forward. We weren't successful, but yet we have not ended our fight to try to protect cities' rights to managing their own land use and housing. So what I'd like to ask is for staff to do, bring forth a discussion item and a possible resolution for consideration of a ballot initiative that's already been put forth. The information on that ballot initiative, this ballot initiative would ultimately restore local control to the local cities where it should be, and the details of which are at the website, and I lost my paperwork on that, communitiesforchoice.org. And I encourage all the people in the public who are concerned about what's happening, potentially going to happen in your neighborhoods, to please check out communitiesforchoice.org. And with concurrence from my colleagues, hopefully staff can bring something forward for us to consider. Great, thank you very much. And good night, everybody.
Full concurrence. Councilmember Kalani.
Thank you, Mayor. I have nothing. Good night, everyone.
Well, thank you. Well, there's still time for businesses to apply for the California Small Business COVID-19 Relief Grant Program. The California Office of the Small Business Advocate, part of the Governor's Office of Business and Economic Development, is still accepting application until this Thursday, September 30th, and grants are being rewarded between $5,000 and $25,000. To learn about the eligibility requirements, visit CARELIEFGRANT. That's CAReliefgrant.com. This is the largest economic recovery package in state history. We urge our small businesses and nonprofits to utilize this resource to assist in financial burdens caused by the impacts of COVID-19 and the related health and safety restrictions. We want to see all of our businesses and our nonprofits recuperate. Coastal Cleanup Day was on the 18th, but we are not limiting it to a single day. In Torrance, we're keeping it going the entire month of September. Grab a friend or a family member and do a self-guided cleanup in your neighborhood, local parks, or other local areas on your own time this month. Don't forget to download the Clean Swell app to track your cleanup efforts and then share your cleanup efforts with us. Again, that app is Clean Swell, C-L-E-A-N S-W-E-L-L. Take a photo of yourself cleaning up trash and litter in front of your home, a park, the beach, or in front of a business anywhere in Torrance. Post your efforts on the social media with hashtag Coastal Cleanup Month and hashtag Torrance Cares. Tag at Heal the Bay, then send a copy of the photo to cddinfo@torranceca.gov. Again, that's cddinfo@torranceca.gov to be entered into a prize drawing. We're still providing public service during the pandemic, and there's still more information to share concerning COVID-19. So we ask you to follow us on social media and visit torranceca.gov/COVID-19. For daily updates, tune into City Cable or torranceca.gov and watch COVID-19 Today, Monday through Thursday at 4 p.m., and Weekends in Torrance, which airs every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at 2 p.m. Thank you again for your continued patience and support, and I certainly take a motion to adjourn. Or not, we can stay here all night.
Motion to adjourn the city council meeting to Tuesday, October 12th, 2021 at 5 o'clock p.m. for closed session with regular business commencing at 6:30 p.m. in the council chamber. Tuesday, October 5th, 2021 is the council dark night.
I second the motion.
Start voting, please. That motion carried with Councilmember Ashcraft absent.
Good night, everybody. We'll see you in 2 weeks.